But first, a couple of holy mackerel stories in today's news. Another wrinkle forms in Republican Party hagiography.
The answer to that is that as the only conservative Ronald Reagan Republican in this race, the only people that are supporting me are the people that believe in the values and the ideals that represent conservatism in the lower taxes, less spending, and less government regulations and red tape. And I believe that that represents the ideals and the values of the voters of the 23rd District better than any other candidate.
That was Conservative Party candidate Doug Hoffman in last night's congressional debate in northern New York. In that race, Mr. Hoffman is running against a Democrat and a Republican, who some on the far right consider to be too liberal to be a real Republican. So how does Mr. Hoffman differentiate himself from the other Republican, the one who is not endorsed by, say, Sarah Palin? He does so by calling himself a Reagan Republican. This is how conservatives talk to each other. This is what they do now. It is the Saint Reagan phenomenon, which has always sort of bothered me because it ignores some conservatively inconvenient truths about Mr. Reagan, like, for example, the fact that Ronald Reagan raised taxes, the fact that he increased the national debt, the fact that he called for a world without nuclear weapons. And now a fourth point of Republican ideological awkwardness has emerged, and it involves Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and former Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev. In a new interview with The Nation magazine, Mikhail Gorbachev recounts this conversation he had with Bush the Senior. Gorbachev says, quote, "By the way, in 1987, after my first visit to the United States, Vice President Bush accompanied me to the airport and told me, Reagan is a conservative, an extreme conservative. All the blockheads and dummies are for him. And when he says that something is necessary, they trust him." So according to Poppy Bush, Reagan was an extreme conservative supported only by blockheads and dummies. They look on the bright side, Reagan Republicans. At least he didn't call you a sick puppy. Trust me, that one sort of hurts. And I will admit that it is at times a pleasure to be attacked politically. For example, it is a pleasure and maybe almost even an honor to be attacked by the top birther in our country, Orly Taitz, the woman who dauntlessly advocates the disproven theory that Barack Obama was not really born in the United States, that his parents lied to Hawaiian officials about his birth, and thus he is secretly not really president of the United States. Despite how nice it is to have Orly Taitz dislike me openly, never did I imagine I would be joined on her enemies list by Fox News anchor Bill O'Reilly. Despite some other far-out conspiracy theories that Mr. O'Reilly has endorsed, he emphatically is not a birther.
The birther claim is just stupid.
Here's something I've never said before. Mr. O'Reilly, I agree. That agreement has gotten me and Bill O'Reilly and Keith Olbermann lumped together on Orly Taitz's website. That's where she's calling for a protest next month outside of Fox's studios here in New York. Why not MSNBC, Ms. Taitz? Why only Fox? Quote, "Keep in mind what O'Reilly did is more dangerous, more harmful than what some idiots like Rachel Maddow or Keith Obertman did, since people believe O'Reilly to be fair and balanced." I find it discomforting that I'm on a political list with Bill O'Reilly, but imagine how he must feel.